Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Lynn Wilson. I'm glad you're here tonight. We're talking pantry. Yeah, we are. We're talking pantry. So we've done a little bit of a mini series this week on the do's and don'ts of a pantry. Lessons that I have learned during the last 18 months of some panic buying. Yes, I will admit I didn't do a ton, but I did do some. Felt the pressure, had to do it. But things that I learned on building my stockpile, rebuilding it, what I learned that were the do's and the don'ts. If you missed that video, I'll link that in the description below. Check that out. Then we just went through my pantry and I destashed, I reorganized, I regrouped, and I had to mentally think in my brain, how does my brain work, so that I would know where to put certain foods and maybe combine things that you would go, why in the world did you do that? Because that's the way my brain thinks. So basically we customized my pantry for my needs. As the head cook and head pantry person and the head menu planner, I need it customized to my brain, as well as I need it customized to my family's needs. So everybody's pantry, you could look at a perfect pantry and say, oh, I want it to look just like that. But it doesn't suit your needs. And I always say you could be a family of one, or you could be a family of, a ton. And you do what is best for you. I like to look at people's pantries. I was watching Amy Marion today, and she was putting away her groceries. And I watched how she stored her pasta. And I watched how she stored her kids' snacks. Now, she has a ton of kids. So her products that she puts in the pantry are different. Her size of her pantry is different. She has more closet space across the board than I have, but I can still learn from her, and I could pick up one or two tips from her and so on. While I'm thinking of it, I have a couple things I want to mention. One is Jan from New York City Saves Money. If you haven't checked out her channel, there was one particular video I really liked, and I said I was going to give her a shout out about that video. But I need to tell you, in the last 2 weeks, she's done some remarkable videos. And one thing I really like about Jan is she's just a good people. I've never met her in person. I feel like she's one of my best friends. Hello, Jan, if you're there. I like listening to her. She's practical. She's just, she's like the neighbor next door that you want to sit down and have a cup of coffee with, and you want to talk, have you been to the grocery store lately and what's been happening? And you just feel like when you're listening to her, that's the kind of conversation she has with you. She makes you feel like you're welcomed into her home, into her thought process, what's going on. But again, particularly in the last 2 weeks, she has had some great topics. One thing that she did touch on, and she had a bag of hamburgers. They're pre-cooked, you can buy them. And we bought them eons ago. It was one of those impulse buying things. I bought it home. They are delicious. They're pre-cooked. You can pop them in the air fryer, in the microwave, and warm them up very quickly and have a nice sandwich, And she was talking about buying things like that. Now, there's pros and cons to all of that. Yes, it's more money. It's cooked. It's packaged. You only get so many. It comes out to about $1-ish, maybe $1.05 per burger. But listen, if you go to McDonald's and you buy a McDonald's hamburger, which is not as big, not as tasty, and not as filling as these burgers, I think it's $1.59 right now for their cheapest McDonald's hamburger. So if you bought this one for $1.09, you're saving 50 cents, if you want to say it that way. You got to add the bread and all that kind of stuff. But it's a good sized burger and it's tasty. And I want to encourage you, Jan was talking about, are things like that worth it? Absolutely. And as we go into my pantry a little bit more, I want to show you some options for you. In that way, we're going to be talking about setting up a 2-week menu, why we should set up a 2-week menu from our pantry, and so on. So one thing, I got all kinds of stuff stacked here. So let me show you a couple things here. All right, so one of the viewers asked, where do I get this meat, this canned meat? Lakeside pork, and I have Lakeside beef. It's already cooked. It's in juices. It's 24 ounces. Okay, these I got a couple from Walmart, and they have a shelf life of about, I think there's a bug on my wall, if you see me looking over there. I don't know if it's a bug or what, but It's starting to annoy me. Anyway, Lakeside pork. I got some of these at Walmart by May. They do have them. You can't get them online. At least I haven't found them on Walmart. But you can get them in the store. And let me think. eBay has these. I did not find them on Amazon. I found them on eBay, and you can go to their own website. Lakeside has a website. You can go on there. And a friend of mine goes to the food pantry. She doesn't like, you know, this kind of stuff. Not that she doesn't like it, that it doesn't taste good. She won't try it. So, no problem. We'll take it. So again, these have a shelf life of about 10 to 12 years. I don't plan on having them that long, but it's, you know, it's always good to know. Anything that lasts longer is better because you have it. So we'll talk a little bit more about this in a little bit, but for those that wanted to know where to get it. But here's another one, fully cooked roast beef, and they show, oh, look at that, delicious meal. Dinner tomorrow night? Yes. So this roast beef was $3. It has a about an 18-month shelf life from when I purchased it. These are $3, and these are Dollar General. So Dollar General has things like this. So this is roast beef, but Walmart also has it. And I mentioned those two particular places because most people have a Walmart or a Dollar General near them. So let's start with that. Now, I got to tell you something else. I have a viewer. Her name is Chris. Hello, Chris. And she has been probably, if not my number one, really close to my number one encourager since I started my YouTube channel. She has emailed me. She has given me gifts. Actually, in the beginning of this video, I showed you a couple of things that are hanging on my wall in the kitchen. And they're reminders to me of my home, what it means to me, my family. And I leave them on my kitchen wall. And that quilt that you see, she actually made that, the quilt hanging. She made that for me. So Chris, I also have a lap quilt that's on one of my chairs in my family room. And she made that. And I had showed that probably, I want to say last fall, I had showed you that on a video. But she's just a dynamic person, always has a kind word, always has something encouraging. And she sent me a really nice email to me today. And, you know, it's just at the moment where I was kind of like, came home from work, and not that it was a bad day, but, you know, you're just kind of in a little bit of a slump. And I get this email that just brightened my whole day. But I'm going to see if I can say this. Epicurus, I think is how you say it. He's a Greek philosopher. And I had to actually Google him and find out who he was and things like that, because she gave me this saying, and I have never heard of this. And maybe this is not new to you, but it was new to me. So let me read this to you. It says, don't spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember, what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for. Whew, that was a lot to think about. So check that out. Google his name. He's got some other great quotes. That sounds also something like Jan from New York City would actually say, that, you know, her style of thinking through life. So, okay, 2-week menu. Why are we talking 2-week menu from your pantry? A couple of reasons. Number one, you have a stockpile for the future. You have a stockpile to shop from and use the food in it, and then you obviously want to replenish it and refill it and keep rotating. You have a stockpile because of emergencies. You have a stockpile because of situations in life. What kind of situations in life? Well, I'll give you an example. This week for me is not pay week, and this week is tight. Money's tight. I don't know how you guys are, and I know, I shouldn't say that. I know I get some comments from some of you on how things are tight. So money's tight for me this week. But aha, I have a pantry. I have a stockpile that I could go in and find food from if I needed to. If you get paid every 2 weeks like I do, sometimes there's no money. You know, you get paid, you pay the bills, and then you go, oh, I needed to buy food. Well, there's no food money because you had to pay your bills, car insurance, taxes, you know, credit cards, car payments, car insurance, all that good stuff. But in 2 weeks, you'd have money again and you could buy food. So that's a situation that you might come across. And yes, we're sitting in my pantry. I'm on a little stool and getting fanny fatigue here. Ooh, so here we go. But that might be a situation. Another situation is you get sick. I don't know if I have allergies or a bit of a cold, but I've been coughing and sneezing the last 2 days. We've had torrential downpours, lightning and thunder. I keep telling my husband Noah's Ark keeps going by our house. That's how much rain we've had. And I'm just congested, feeling, not feeling sick, just ugh. But enough where I would not feel like going out shopping. So maybe you're sick for 2 weeks. Maybe your kid's sick. Maybe the car broke down. We have hurricanes coming up August, September, October-ish. That's hurricane season here in our area in New Jersey. So maybe the power's going to go out, or maybe there's a hurricane coming and you need to pick up food, and so on and so forth. I shared on one of my other videos that I never wanted to go hungry again when I learned I had to give up a meal to feed my son, my oldest son, when he was a little guy, and my husband, because my fault, I did not manage my home well. My fault, I did not manage my budget well. My fault, I didn't know how to have a stockpile, and my fault that I just didn't do things right. I was a young mom, as a young wife, and lessons learned. Every lesson we learn it puts you in a better place in life if you've learned from it and you move forward, which is what I did. And I promised myself from that point on, I would have some type of a stockpile where I would always have an extra week's worth of food. So I always knew next week I had food. If I couldn't afford it, I had food for next week. Then I built it up to 2 weeks. Then I built it up to a month. And I have a video, if you're saying, but I can't do that. I have a video on a $5 stockpile. How to start a stockpile on $5. Check that out. I have a video on how to organize and color code, very simple, stickers like this from the Dollar Tree. You can check out that video. I have some very practical, everyday things that hopefully will help you guys. But I had to learn to do that. Right now, I would say maybe 6 months-ish. Probably about 6 months. If I had to just eat out of what I have in the home right now. Well, maybe between this closet and everything else I have, I might say 6 to 9 months worth of food if I could not go shopping. Now, that's not fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, fresh milk, things like that. That would be powdered milk and containered milk and evaporated milk and condensed milk, and maybe rice cakes instead of bread and crackers and so on and so forth. That would be bare bones I could get by for 9 months. Now, we're not going to be snowed in for 9 months or anything like that, but if I had to, I like to have at least 6 months to a year. I had probably a year going back 8-9 months ago. We've been eating out of the pantry, which is fine. I've also just destashed things that I'm not going to use. Check out that video, why did I destash? How can you bless other people? That's in the previous video. But I've got enough. We've got enough. So the 2-week menu. Okay, here's the scoop. Let's say all of a sudden somebody's sick, you have no money, there's a family crisis or something, and you're like, I'm so overwhelmed right now. I can't go grocery shopping. I have no money. What am I going to do? What do I have? I can't think. You ever get like that? I can't think. I just can't think. Okay, I can't. That's how I am. I just can't think. I go empty. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to get a piece of paper, and you're going to get a pen and a clipboard or some tape, whatever you need, and find a place. Like, I'm going to put it on the wall here in my pantry. I don't care where you put it, how you do it. You want to write down breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, you can plan 7 breakfasts, 7 lunches, and 7 dinners, and just repeat that for 2 weeks. Or you can plan a 2-week menu where everything is different. Hey, it's your pantry, it's your family, it's your taste buds, whatever works for you. But what I want to challenge you to do is to plan a 2-week menu based on what's in your pantry and what you have in your house. Now, don't go in your refrigerator and say, oh, I have American cheese I can make. No. You might not have American cheese. So based on what you have, like canned goods, and I know this is not going to be fresh vegetables and all that stuff. We're talking emergency situation. We're talking, I can't get out. I have no food in the fridge. I have to make do with what I have. You will survive for 2 weeks on canned goods. You're not going to die. You might have to eat a little differently, but you will be okay. But this is to get you over that hump. But here's what I'm saying. If you have a 2-week menu planned out and a situation arises and you can't think, you just can't think, no problem. I wrote that menu down. You will write a menu based on things that you like, not things of, let me try making. No, 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 no. What do you eat on the regular that you can pull together from your pantry? Now, again, canned goods, box goods, these are the types of things that you're using. So you're going to have to maybe be a little creative. And I want to talk about that a little bit to help you through, because somebody said to me, I don't even know where to start with how to pull that together. So I'm not a professional in this, and I have by no means have this perfected, but share what I can do. So if you have that 2-week menu made, now remember, panic situations, rough times, you need comfort food. I'm not a vegan, I'm not a vegetarian, I'm not keto or anything like that. Nothing against it. That's just not who we are. So my menus and my foods that I'll show you might not accommodate those dietary needs. But you can get the idea of what I'm saying and then adapt it to, if you eat this instead of meat, then you would make your menu on that. If you have children, even for yourself, include some macaroni and cheese, include things that you're going to know that they're going to eat, and you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. So let's start with breakfast things. What could we do for breakfast? Okay, so let's see, which way? Somewhere over here. You can't see it. Don't worry about it. You saw it on the last video. I have oatmeal. You can make oatmeal muffins. You can make oatmeal pancakes. You can make milk out of oatmeal. If you really, really had to, you can make oat milk. So we have muffins, you have pancakes. You can make plain oatmeal, just regular old-fashioned oatmeal. And you can grab some applesauce from the pantry or some other fruit. Maybe you have dried fruit. You can put that on there. If you have some nuts, you can put that on there. I love baked oatmeal. That's our favorite. You can make a baked oatmeal. If you like oatmeal, if you don't like oatmeal, maybe cream of wheat or whatever other types of hot cereals that you have. There you go. That's something that you can do for a breakfast. Now, you can make oatmeal muffins, oatmeal pancakes, and regular oatmeal. There's 3 breakfasts right there. So you could do those 3, say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and the next week the same thing, or change it up. Cold cereal, if you have cold cereal, there you go. You've got cold cereal. Obviously, we're going to say let's not even include the refrigerator right now. This is like emergency 2-week menu. Have the containers of milk. I am currently, I think I might be out. Nope, hang on. Let me show you one. Hang on 1 second. Okay, I have these up top because they expire August 21st. Now, I don't want milk. Certain things I'm not going to really use past the expiration. Like, I'm not on August 1st, I'm not going to dump it. But I'm not going to say November, December that I'm going to still use this. I want to use it up. So here you go. These are at the Dollar Tree, guys. Dollar Tree. You buy these on Amazon, it's $5, maybe $6. Dollar Tree, $1. They have soy milk and they have almond milk. Not all of them carry that, but they have soy and almond. And you can get this milk. So cold cereal, you need to make your muffins, you need to make whatever for breakfast. Get the complete pancake mix. If you like pancakes, maybe get your favorite brand, Aunt Jemima, whatever it might be. But if you got the complete, you only have to add water. So that makes it easy. What else? I don't know. You can make waffles out of the pancake mix. You can make, McGriddles. You can, we're going to take this canned ham, $3. Good deal, right? At Dollar General. I bought this a year ago. I wouldn't say it was March or April I bought this. It doesn't expire. I bought this in 2020. It doesn't expire until March of 2025, 5 years. So this is the kind of stuff that's a really good thing to have. So you could take this ham. This is a breakfast, lunch, and dinner meal. Take this ham, slice it up, fry it up, make some pancakes, put it together like a sandwich. You got a breakfast sandwich. So you can have pancakes one day, breakfast sandwiches another day. You could buy powdered milk. You can use the powdered milk. If you want to make your pancakes like a little richer, make your pancake complete with the water and add a little of the powdered milk, and that would just kind of make it a little bit more, you know, bulkier and taste better. What else for breakfast? How about just some fruit? You can just do fruit. I'm trying to think what else I might have in here that might... Oh, rice. I got rice back here. I am not one to do this, but I have a friend that's from Puerto Rico, and she makes rice, and she puts cinnamon and a little sugar and a little butter and some warm milk on top of sticky rice. It's kind of like a rice pudding, but a very soupy kind of rice pudding, but they eat that for breakfast. Who knew? Okay, so maybe in your own background, you know, the way you grew up, you have something. I would love to hear in the comments below if you have some tips along that way of, well, what kind of things do you eat for breakfast that maybe aren't, you know, what we normally would say is a breakfast meal. Leave that below, because then that's tips for us to learn about. Make sure you have some spices in your pantry. Have some cinnamon and salt and pepper and Italian seasoning and garlic powder and onion powder. Whatever basic things you like. I know my mom doesn't like garlic. My dad loves garlic. So for us, we like garlic. We like garlic. We stink together. You know, it's okay. But those are the kind of things that would make something very flavorful. You don't want to eat bland food when you're in a tough time. You want comfort, you want flavor, you want that kind of feeling just to make you feel better. Does that help? Okay. Lunch, I'm going to sort of touch on a little bit, but you know, you could do breakfast for lunch, you could do dinner for lunch. Lunch can be kind of, you know, you can make do for lunch. You can have just some fruit, a cup of fruit for lunch if you had to. But okay, so ham. You can take this, chop it up in your food processor, add some Miracle Whip or mayonnaise. You don't have mayonnaise, you don't have Miracle Whip, some kind of salad dressing, ranch, honey mustard. You don't have that, just add some relish if you have some relish. You don't have that, just ham. But you can make a ham salad out of this. Just chop it up, make some mayonnaise, put some mayonnaise in it, and you can have a ham salad. Okay, so what else can you use for lunch? Tuna fish. Everybody likes tuna. Well, most people do. Canned tuna, canned salmon, canned crab meat, canned sardines. Not my thing, but other people like them. Think of stuff like this, canned meat. This is November 2023. Some of these things, yes, I would go past the expiration date. I mention expiration dates only for you to think through. When you buy your products, we talked about this on my last video, get things that will last the longest. 2025, 2023. You can make a lot of things out of tuna fish. They even have, what I would recommend, and I don't have any here, but they have the little tiny cans of tuna. They already mixed with like a relish or a mayonnaise. They come with a little spoon and a little pack of crackers. It's $1 at the Dollar Tree. And I think at Dollar General, I think they're $1. And they have different flavors. Grab those. They're great. You know, I keep, sometimes, not always, but I like to keep stuff like that at my desk at work, because sometimes I can't get out for lunch and you need lunch. It's a quick protein meal that crackers and tuna, you're good to go. It's already seasoned and all of that. We're going to be talking about emergency prepared kits for the hurricane season. For me, you might have tornado season, you might have flood season, whatever the case might be. In you know, closer to that time frame, I'll be doing some of the things that I do to prepare for emergencies for that. But those types of kits are great for your emergency prepared kits that you might have. But even in your pantry, if you like to, again, it has to be something you know you and your family will eat. But then you don't have to worry about mayonnaise and seasonings and all of that and crackers. They're all prepared for you. Let me get some water while we're talking. What other meals? Okay. I would say this is one of my favorites. Canned chicken. I would go with a brand name. This is Kirkland. I think this is BJ's, I think. But I've had it. It's good if you get the Kirkland brand. Go with something on some of this stuff. If you can, go with a brand name. A lot of times it's not much more, or it's just pennies more. Certain things like chicken. This is premium chunk chicken. It's good chicken. Other ones, I don't know if you're going to get something as good as this. But let me tell you, I would never have gotten canned chicken. The thought of it just kind of didn't do anything for me. Amy Marion, I mentioned her. I watch her faithfully. If you happen to check out Amy Marion's channel or Jan from New York City and leave a comment on their feed, just let them know that I sent you. So that would help me connect with both of those ladies. But she made a soup out of canned chicken, and she was one of those days she needed a quick something. And I was like, canned chicken soup, it looks so good. And someone had given me a can of chicken, and I was kind of like, So I made the soup. It was so good. So listen, ham, you can make soup. I'm not a seafood person, but you probably could make a soup out of tuna. You can make a soup out of this chicken. How do you make soup out of the meat? It's simple. You have bouillon, put your bouillon in, put your water in, put your meat in, add some rice, add some pasta, add a can of vegetables, whatever you have, add a jar of some sauce, tomato sauce, add some ketchup. Think of flavors that you like. Onion, you have dried onion, might not have fresh. Make sure you have some dried onion, maybe some Italian seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder. You don't even have dried onions, you have onion powder. When you make your 2-week menu, and maybe you want to put down chicken soup, maybe make a note to the side for yourself. What can I add? Add corn, add peas, add rice, add tomato sauce, and list all these things. Again, when you're in that panic mode or that situation that comes up in life and you can't think, I knew I was going to make soup out of the chicken, but what was I going to put in it? If you have it written down, you don't have to worry about it. It's all the work's done for you. You can use the beef, and you can do the same thing. You can make a soup out of this. You could use the pork, and you can make a soup out of that. I want to give you a few varieties here. Now, I canned my own meat last year. This is chicken on the bone. These are drumsticks. I made a couple of times chicken soup out of this. This is like, when you can, it like sucks the life out of the bones of this chicken. This juice in here and the chicken on this bone, I peel it off and make soup. It is unbelievably delicious. And this is the kind of chicken soup when you don't feel so good, you want to pull this out. You can make a nice chicken broth with that. And you maybe are not into canning, which is fine. That's why you might buy the canned chicken. Now, I canned my own ground beef, Homestead Tessie. She has a great video. She got a lot of videos on canning. And she did one on doing ground beef, and I copied the way she did it. Came out fantastic. As a matter of fact, tonight we're going to do a recipe with this ground beef because I want to show you a simple recipe just using what I have in the pantry and how we can pull it together. Okay, what else? Okay, so, I got so many thoughts going through my head. Let me show you some other things. Okay, this is kind of like Spam luncheon meat. So it says luncheon meat. You can use this. This is a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Same with the ham. Good to have things that you can use for anything. You can fry this up and have this with some eggs in the morning. You can make a lunch sandwich out of this. You could eat this cold with some, sliced tomatoes. They show you, and lettuce on here. Open face sandwich. You can cook it up at night. Put it with some rice. Put it with pasta. Anything. So that's another option for you. Now, things like this, you might say, that's not meat. Well, there you go. We talked about comfort food. Spaghetti and meatballs. The sauce is in it, the meatballs are in it, and the spaghetti's in it, and it's cooked. You're in a tight spot. You got to feed the kids. Everybody's stressed out. You make this. Who doesn't like spaghetti and meatballs? It's not your homemade sauce. It's not. I know that. You're in a tight spot. You need to feed the family. You need to feed yourself. So you pull this out. You got a comfort food. You can add a vegetable to it. Get out a can of peas or something. If you do have stuff in the refrigerator, make a salad. some carrot sticks, anything, applesauce, whatever. But this is an option for you. You don't necessarily, if you're not super creative and you're going to be stuck for, how do I pull this together? Maybe think through, and there's several types. There's chicken and dumplings like this, and there's other things that maybe 2 of the nights of the week on your 2-week menu, you include canned spaghetti, and maybe do something like that. This is another thing. These are $1, Dinty Moore. This is potatoes, carrots, and it's a beef stew with, it says made with fresh potatoes and carrots. So they're not fake food, it's real food. It's in a gravy. It's ready in 60 seconds. And it's 2022 of June shelf life. And I bought these probably a few weeks ago. They were $1, 12 grams of protein. They have spaghetti and meatballs. I got one that was chicken and potatoes. And this one, I think that's the only ones I picked up. These are something I like to leave at work. I actually brought 2 of these at work, so I have a quick meal if I need it. Listen, if you had to eat this for breakfast, you could do it. It's okay. Nobody said you can't. But again, meals that maybe you don't want to have to cook. I gotta get water again. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Dry throat, sitting in a dusty closet. Okay. So think through, again, you're not super creative or you just know you're going to be stressed out. Pick up meals like this that you set aside for those emergency purposes. Here's another idea. Chili. This one, they tell you to add water and a can of tomato paste. That's it. You warm it up. It's ready to go. Serves 8 people. Now, you ran out of tomato paste. Okay. How about tomato sauce? Or tomato soup? Or a can of crushed tomatoes, or anything like that, or ketchup. You know, there's other thing. Tomato doesn't have to be the paste. That's what they recommend, but now we're in, you know, tight times. What other tomato products do you have plus water? You don't have anything tomato. Nothing. No problem. Just add the water. You're good. Now, this serves 8. Maybe you need to serve 10 people. So you're going to have to bulk it up a little bit. Maybe you want this to last over 3 meals. You want to get, you know, one for dinner tonight, maybe lunch tomorrow, and dinner the following, you know, in 2 nights, and you want to stretch it. So what can you do for that? You can add extra water to this, and you can add maybe a whole can of crushed tomatoes, and that will give it more flavor. Add some rice to this. Add some pasta. Pour this, make some spaghetti and pour this over the top like a spaghetti sauce. Add the rice, add some corn. You can add lentils to this to give it extra protein. You can add any kind of canned vegetables to this. You have some fresh spinach in the refrigerator. Another thing I learned from Amy Marion, I take my fresh spinach and I put it in the freezer. I don't use it up quick enough, but I freeze it, and then it chops real easy, really fine. Nobody knows it's in there because it chops up so fine because it's frozen, and you get fresh spinach in there. So think through. I'm trying to think of other things, like even like macaroni and cheese. Oh yeah, who doesn't like that? And combine the 2. So think through stuff like that. Okay, what else could you do for a quick meal? You're not super creative, you can't think, what can you do? How about a can of like chunky soup? You could get them at the Dollar Tree. You can get cans of chunky soup. They have seafood style, they have chicken style, they have beef style. You know, get something like that. You can pour that over rice. You can just have that with some toast, or that with some crackers. Again, you open it, you warm it up, and you eat it. You want you want to stretch it out, put a couple cans in that, add a can of crushed tomatoes, add some, you know, vegetables, extra vegetables, add whatever you got, add some rice, whatever. You could pour that over pasta if you had to, you know, if you had to do that. So look around your pantry and think through, what do I have? Do I have spices? Do I have pastas? Do I have some side dishes? Now, all of these things, like these meats, you might say, well, what would you do with it? Well, you know what? Instant potatoes. You can make instant potatoes. You can use scallop potatoes. I'm not a big potato person. I love potatoes, but I don't like to keep a lot of fresh potatoes because we don't use them up quick enough and then they go bad. But something like this, scallop potatoes, or these are au gratin. This is from the Dollar Tree. brand name, Hungry Jack, serves 6 servings. You could stretch that, you know, if you had to stretch it from 6 servings to 12, everybody just gets a little bit less, that's fine. Add some vegetables with this. Add that with some meat like this, you're gonna be good to go. You know, I was just in Walgreens tonight. This was new to me. I had never seen this before, but they had taco meat in a can, and it had all the stuff. It had corn in it, it had peppers in it, it had the meat, the sauce, ready-made taco meat in a can. So there's another thing. You want, you know, have taco shells. They have a long life. So taco shells have a long life. Tortillas, they have a long life. You can get this taco meat. You don't even need the spices. You don't need anything. You can get a can of that and have Taco Tuesday on, you know, one of these stressful nights that you might have. Keep some canned fruit. Keep your milk in the containers, or evaporated milk that you can add water to. Keep some juice in here. Keep macaroni and cheese. Keep things like flavored rice like this, because sometimes just plain white rice isn't going to cut it. But if you added some flavored rice, that would be nice. Again, the seasoning packet is with it. I'm looking around here, guys. I'm trying to think. Hey, always on a standby, keep your peanut butter and jelly on hand. Make sure you have crackers or rice cakes or some type of alternative to bread if you run out of bread, or have flour. You can make fry bread if you don't have yeast, or if you don't know how to make bread. I have a video on how to make fry bread. We love it. During the height of the pandemic in New Jersey, and we couldn't get out, and it wasn't good. We made a lot of fry bread, and my son, who is super particular, especially with autism, loves fry bread. It's a nice added feature to anything. It's great the next day. What else? Let's see. Okay, I keep canned vegetables, canned potatoes, canned peas, green beans, mixed vegetables, corn, carrots, anything like that. Again, only what you eat, what you like. Keep some sippies on hand. Get some juice. You can get these at the Dollar Tree. You can get them at Dollar General. It's good to have as an alternative. After a while, you get tired of drinking water. You want a little something. The kids want something different. I don't know. Hopefully that helps. Now, here's a challenge for you. First of all, I want you to make your 2-week menu based on what you have in your pantry, what you think you're going to like, and so on. But now, once you make your list, I want you to do this. Make it fun. You're a family of 1, you just talk to yourself. Have a little conversation. You're a family of 2 or more, have a conversation with your people. And just say, hey, Saturday night, we're going to make a special dinner. We're going to go in the pantry, we're going to find some food, and we're going to create a dinner. And if you get them all involved, somebody might say, oh, I love chili. Could we put that over pasta? Oh, I like carrots. Can we have carrots? It might not be something you would normally put together. But if the family put it together and they loved it, you can make a note of what you made, what products you used, and so on. And there's one of your meals. And again, you only have to do really 7 breakfast, dinners, lunches, and dinners, and you could just double that, and then you got your 2-week menu. But do something like that, and then say, you know, weeks from now, remember that night we made that chili and we had the carrots, and oh yeah, can we do that again? So it's a meal that you've already had, that even though it's on your 2-week meal plan for emergencies, you know it's foolproof because the family has tried it. And if you're a family for 1, you and yourself have a nice little conversation here and figure out what you can do. So I hope those things are helpful. I hope those tips are helpful. And I'm going to take you over to my kitchen, and I'm going to grab my chopped meat. And we're going to make something that's called shepherd's pie, the way I grew up with it. Sorry for any of my friends over yonder. It is not your typical shepherd's pie, but we're going to use this and some other ingredients and create this shepherd's pie. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for a real simple one. I'm actually making this for a friend that's not feeling so well, and I want to surprise them tomorrow and bring that over. We're going to pop in and visit them and bring this with us. And I'm going to show you how to make that so that we can make a meal from my pantry with some of the things that I have. And I hope you enjoy it. So just hang on, grab a cup of coffee, come on over, meet me in my kitchen in just a moment. We'll catch up with each other. Okay, so we're in the kitchen, and I will tell you up front, this is a working kitchen. This is not a kitchen on TV. So if you see things out of order, just basically deal with it, because I'm not a perfect person, and my kitchen is not perfect. So we're going to use a small casserole dish. Things I got from the pantry. We're going to use some instant potatoes. I've already added water to it. Some of my canisters that I just got. Yeah, I haven't filled them all, but working on it. So I added the water. Right now it's a little stiff, as you can see. You could also use evaporated milk in this if you want to make it creamier. We will add some more water, but I'll explain why I'm holding off right now. I did have some cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar cheese in the refrigerator that is going to expire in the next 2 weeks. So I thought, well, you know what? Why not use it up? So you don't have to have this cheese. It just makes it extra good. And then I'm using some, this is called Bisto, the best bouillon out there. Oh my word. If you don't have this, I know you can buy it at Stop and Shop. If you have a Stop and Shop near you or any British store, best stuff out there. So you want to have some bouillon. If you don't have bouillon, you can use tomato paste. If you don't have tomato paste, you can also use baked beans. And I know that is a very traditional way of making a shepherd's pie. When my son went to Scotland, that's what they had. I don't care for baked beans in mine. Makes it too sweet, but that's an option. So I grabbed some peas and carrots. These were frozen peas and carrots that I canned, so I didn't have to use up my freezer. This is when I canned it. I've already popped the lid. That's why you see the little mark there. I canned these March last year, potatoes and carrots with a little onion soup mix. So we're going to be using these as well. And then here is my chopped meat. Here's another thing that you could also add in there, Marmite. Oh yeah, baby. You add that to anything and it tastes good. So I know most people don't have Marmite. So we're just using these few things here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chopped meat. I'm going to warm that up with a little bit of water and a little bit of Bisto and just make like a roux in it. Warm that up. We're going to layer it in the dish here. And I'm going to add my peas and carrots on top of that. And then my potatoes on top of that with some cheese. And that's it, guys. There you're going to have a simple, more of an American version of a shepherd's pie, cottage pie, beef pie meal out of the pantry. So let me start putting this together and I'll bring you back. Okay, so are you ready to reorganize your pantry? Are you ready to make a 2-week menu? Are you ready to clean out, destash, regroup? Maybe are you ready to start your pantry? I would love for you to comment below. Let me know where you're at. Is your pantry picture perfect? Are you just starting one? Are you destashing and reorganizing? What are you doing with your pantry? It's a great time to have a fresh start. So I'm going to challenge you to make sure that you write that 2-week menu and you post it somewhere. Put it in your planner. Tape it to the back of an inside of a kitchen cabinet door. Put it in your pantry. Put it in your stockpile. Put it somewhere. So with the recipe that I made from my pantry, it's a simple recipe, and you saw what I did. I took the chopped meat. It was already cooked, but I warmed it up. I added some bouillon, made a gravy for it, layered that in the dish. Then I did a layer of peas and carrots. You can do any vegetable you want. I did peas and carrots. Then I did a layer of cheese, and then I did the mashed potatoes. Now let me explain two things. Number one, I know a lot of people put the cheese on top, but I don't like the cheese getting all brown on top. I like when you cut into it and the cheese oozes out. Personal preference. The other thing I did with the instant potatoes, because I used what was in my pantry and I didn't have enough regular potatoes, but what I did have is canned potatoes that I had. Now maybe you have a can, regular 50 cents can of potatoes, but what I wanted to do was because I canned mine in a little bit of a onion broth, I used that extra liquid. You saw me pouring that over the instant potatoes to make it creamier, make it a little bit smoother, I guess you'd say. And then I took the real potatoes, you know what I mean, whole potatoes, put it in there, mash that up, but to give it a little texture. Put that on the top and bake it. You can bake it in the oven for 20 minutes and you'll see it bubbling away and the juices coming up, or you can just microwave it. And you saw the finished product at the end. The person I made it for was thrilled, asked me for the menu, and asked me to make it again for them. I am so glad you joined me. I know it was a long video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up and please leave me a comment. I would love to chat with you in those comments, and we will catch you on the next video.